Greetings and bienvenue, Midnight Crew. Thank you for returning to this broadcast, and welcome to new viewers joining us for the first time. If you like a video, then feel free to subscribe.
Have you ever witnessed a glitch? Lurker here mostly, but seen few videos by all time on the topic of glitches. Tried to explain them rationally, but kept an open mind. So here's my story. Wake up in the morning, out of cigarettes. Walk out at 7 a.m. to the nearest grocery store. 20 meters away on the same side of the road, see a guy walking my way. Another road divides us, T-junction. The guy is wearing a teal t-shirt and shorts and has something weird about his face. Can't place it. Shortly, a truck starts crossing that road, obscuring the view. In these seconds, bring up his image in my head, trying to figure out why he looked so ugly to me. Take a mental note to check his face when he's closer. The truck clears the road. The guy is gone. Now there is an elderly woman in a red sweater. Nothing unusual about her look. There is nowhere he could have disappeared in just 2 seconds. There were no other people besides that guy before the truck appeared. I cannot explain this rationally. It makes no sense. I was sober last time I drank a week ago. Nothing else. Do you believe in glitches? What causes them? Seen any? Share your stories.
B19, Neet, going for a job interview. Poor, so it's public transportation and walking. Have a third-party scheduled appointment from a trusted family friend, entry level, at some no-name pharma company. Find the building, completely nondescript, just the company name and completely shaded out windows. Clearly not meant for the public. Doors locked despite 20 cars in the parking lot. When someone comes to the door after knocking, they have no idea about the appointment, say they don't interview there, and ask lots of questions about who I set up the appointment with. They deny even being the company despite the company name being on the building and one carrying a badge with the company name. Whatever, back to Neet. I tried. 30 minutes until the next bus. Small park less than 5 minutes away. Screw it, I'll relax in a nice place instead of near the bus stop due to crackheads. Every single person there looks at me when I sit down. I don't even have my fly down, so what the hell? Ignore it, relax and scroll through my phone. Some random old guy asks if I'm okay and what I was doing there. Explain I'm waiting for a bus. Looks at me weird and walks away. I look up and literally every person is watching me. Hell no, not today, Satan. I casually GTFO. Catch the next possible bus and have to make a transfer to get home. Look up the company online. It no longer exists. I literally Google mapped it earlier. Not in my search history. The person that set up the interview refuses to talk about it. Go back to the park a week later and it's not there. It's just a rundown parking lot next to the building with that company name. Triple check GPS and it's the exact same spot. No one I've told remembers me even leaving that day or that I had an appointment. Anyone else just randomly visit places that don't exist. Like I've tried working through it rationally, but no part of it makes sense. Like I slipped between close realities that day and just never returned.
I have a similar case, except I remember attending a completely different school for kindergarten than my mom remembers. Though in my case it could just be overactive imagination, but man, it felt real. Even some of the areas around the school were what I remembered from my childhood despite never going there in reality, like the nearby Subways or Chuck E. Cheese that I would pass by on the school bus. Yet there is no history of the building I remember attending for kindergarten being an actual school. The building does exist in my case though, unlike yours. There are no records of me attending any other school in my childhood. I have no idea where these memories came from. I even remember my kindergarten teacher's name and face, for example, or how the classroom looked. I remember the interiors as well. I guess it could be an elaborate false memory, but damn.
Not a creepypasta really, but a glitch in the Matrix event I had a couple of days ago. If anybody is from northern New Jersey, they might be familiar with Eisenhower Parkway, a boulevard-like street with traffic lights at regular intervals. It was originally intended to be longer than constructed, with a fully graded yet abandoned cloverleaf interchange, known as Triborough Road, past its southern terminus, where I used to smoke and hang out. At the northern end, the highway ends abruptly at an office complex, with multiple signs telling you to make a U-turn, CPIC. Well, the other day, I was traveling west on I-280 to get to Livingston, which is south on Eisenhower Parkway, but I ended up taking exit 4B, which took me about a half-mile north to the office complex. No big deal, as this has happened before. After passing the multiple signs that tell you the road is ending and to merge left, I sort of phased out and suddenly realized that there are no more signs. I thought I had a lapse in memory and was now traveling the correct way towards Livingston. I continued on the road going parallel to the power lines when I had a gut-wrenching feeling in my stomach that something wasn't right, quite literally. The power lines that run parallel to Eisenhower Parkway are always to the right of you if you are heading south, that is until you approach Livingston Mall. I did a double take and saw that the power lines were to the left of me, as if I was traveling north. I sped up a bit and made the next right I could find, finding myself on a feeder road right next to the ShopRite in West Caldwell, north of I-280 and north of Eisenhower Parkway. I made an illegal U-turn into the parking lot and sat there for an hour contemplating what the hell happened. I wasn't a believer in parallel universes until a couple of days ago, because the only explanation I can come up with is that I entered some sort of alternate dimension where Eisenhower Parkway continued into Caldwell. Here's a map I made in Paint that I hope helps explain what happened. It's not to scale.
The following is a story that happened to me in kindergarten in the early 90s. About a week into class, all the kids were sitting Indian style on the floor. The teacher, an older lady with gray hair, had us all stand up to do warm-ups, where we'd follow her directions doing stretches. She said,
"Everyone touch your toes.
and then,
Now everyone spin around.
and we all did. Then she said,
Now turn around without moving your head."
I was confused, wondering how that was going to work. I watched as she spun her body all the way around, feet going up and down as if marching in place. The whole time her head remained facing forward, like something out of The Exorcist. I tried following her lead, turned my body as far as it would go, until I was looking over the back of my shoulder, and quickly turned my head as I completed the spin. As I was spinning, I noticed all the other kids in the class were doing the same as her, spinning in place without moving their heads. I was the only one that couldn't do it. I was disturbed and embarrassed, thinking, how does everyone know how to do this except me? I hope she doesn't notice and call me out. I know she saw that I was the only one that couldn't do it, but she never said anything. After that, the warm-up was over, and we all returned to sitting on the floor and continued the rest of the day like normal. I knew what had happened wasn't right. That's why I still remember it to this day. I wasn't dreaming or having a wild imagination. This was the only paranormal event that ever happened in school. I never told anyone because I knew they wouldn't believe me, and I didn't want the teacher to find out. I'm trying to piece together how this could have happened. What do you think could have caused this experience? Was it a glitch in the Matrix? Was she possessed? Was I part of some kind of MK Ultra experiment? And have you ever heard of or experienced something similar in school yourself?
The first and last time I've experienced something that can legit be dubbed a glitch in the Matrix was in 2017. Greentexting it for more clarity. Be me. Go past the summer of 2017 at my aunt's place. She lives in a village located at a mountain. Place, of course, is filled with forests and trees. So one day I was strolling in the forest and I glanced at something strange. A half tree but with the bottom missing. Literally no bottom trunk that connects it with the ground. I was dumbfounded. I even slid my hand left and right under it, trying to prove I wasn't hallucinating. There was literally nothing there, only a floating upper tree. I took out my phone. Take a ton of photos of that phenomenon. GTFO and run for my aunt's home to tell her what I've seen. I arrived home, find my aunt, tell her I have something crazy to show her. Grab my phone, open gallery. All recent photos were pitch white on their thumbnails. Try to open them. Only white pixels photos. Close the gallery app and then reopen it. All those photos now showed a corrupted file message. Tried even transferring to a PC. The PC wouldn't recognize them, even though it did recognize any other photo that I had or that I took, trying to figure out what was happening.
Saw a glitch in the Matrix once. Used to live in an apartment that had a bathroom window which overlooked the road 3 stories below and the surrounding area. I'm looking out of it one day and I swear I saw the same van appear twice in a row, behind itself driving. Same make, model, color, passenger, driver. The passenger side was closer to me, and the passenger even sat in the same position, window rolled down, an arm rested on the frame. It was like when identical NPC vehicles would spawn one after another in an older GTA game. I also low-key suspect that March 6, 2021 happened twice, or that I lived it twice, or somehow noticed the calendar not change. It was like how when the clocks move back in the fall in daylight saving zones and clock doesn't advance to the next hour but will fall back on itself once, only this was a full calendar day doing that. And the creepy thing is the very day I had this bewildering double day, which I was ready to write off as, guess I really messed up and just lost track however uncanny this feels, I see someone else posting about experiencing the exact same thing. And maybe you are still here? Wasn't that weird?
Had a similar glitch when I was a kid, often. When I was in elementary or middle school, I would be getting up for breakfast and get ready for school, but the high school bus would drive through the neighborhood maybe 1 hour before mine. It was on a circle, so if I looked out my front window, I could see across the street, through some trees past 2 houses to catch a glimpse of something yellow zooming through where the leaves didn't obscure it from right to left. But the strange thing is, sometimes I'd see it and keep watching, and often the same bus would be seen through the trees, vanish behind the house and terrain, and then only the second one would seem to end up at the stop sign further down to the left, where my bus stop was. So the second bus appeared maybe 10 or 15 seconds after I glimpsed the phantom bus. I could hear the bus too. I mean, it was loud, but I couldn't always pinpoint which sound source matched the visual source because most of it was behind terrain.
This is the only place I can think that I should post this. Maybe some of you freaks can explain this, but I think me and my friend found a glitch IRL. Here goes. Be me. Bored. Talk my friend into getting some knives for throwing. Knives break quickly because cheap knives, bad at throwing also. Decide to watch some guy on YouTube that throws professionally. He can throw perfectly basically anything, including big nails. Decide to buy some big nails to throw because cheap. Find some 20-centimeter long nails. Perfect.jpg. While walking out of the store, I count them all. It's 20 so 10 each to throw. We get a cardboard, an old TV to throw them at. We take 10 nails each to throw, both counted them. We throw them all from 5-meter distance, then collect. I collected 11. Here, man, I took one of yours. What do you mean I have 11 here? I took one of yours? We are both confused and count the nails several times. Now somehow we have a total of 22 nails. We laughed it off and began throwing again. We gather the nails, now 11 each. We notice that one more is laying on the ground, but both of us have 11. 23rd nail appeared. We begin joking that we found a glitch in the simulation and duped an item. After throwing for a while again, we can't find the 23rd nail. Look all around, it's not here. Could easily be seen on the ground. And when we begin walking out of the location, my friend turns to the side near my feet, there it is. 23rd nail. What? Are we actually living in a simulation? Any theories? Help. We still have the nails. The nails from the story. We checked the nails, we thought we could have just found other nails by accident, but they are all identical. Another photo for reference.
Did you go to the store and count the nails yourself or ask someone for 20 nails? Hardware stores often have a always give 10% more. That way, even if you screw up, you'll never give 10% less rule for nails and shit. You probably had 23 since the beginning.
It was in a plastic bag. I counted them, my guy. I'm not that dumb. Plus me and my friend counted 10 each later on.
One evening about a month ago, my friend and I were walking down a path next to a lake. Between the path and the lake, running alongside the path, was a row of trees. They were about a foot in diameter and 10 feet apart, would guess. As we were walking along and talking, we came across a tree that made us both simultaneously stop in our tracks. The trunk of this tree was split roughly down the middle into 2 sections. The left half looked regular and the right half was just pitch black. Not like it was darker, but it was actually black, like it had been painted with that Vantablack paint. I couldn't figure out if it was some kind of chimeral trunk, or if the tree was really covered in soot. But we were both like, what is wrong with that tree? I pulled out my phone's flashlight and shined it on the tree so we could get a closer look. But the moment I shined the light on the tree, it was suddenly back to normal. That's weird, I thought. I can't believe it was just a shadow. But here's when it gets crazy. When I turned the light off, the tree was still normal, with a fully regular trunk. It was completely inexplicable. Both of us stood there for like 5 minutes saying, what the hell, and scratching our heads. The only way to describe it is that a texture of the tree did not initially load, and as soon as I shined another light source on it, it suddenly popped back to normal. Since there were 2 sober witnesses to this event, and the sun hadn't even set, and there were no objects casting shadows from behind us, I'm fully convinced that it was a real glitch.
I got a glitch in the Matrix one. Be me. Healthcare anon. Do EEGS during daytime. Getting the paperwork ready for the second patient of shift. Same first name as me but opposite gender. Heh. Her birthday is the exact same as mine. Neato. See the contact info and I'm quickly caught between disbelief and an oncoming panic attack. The mobile phone is my number. The home number is my childhood home phone. Rationalize that the OS is glitching and displaying my info instead of the patient's. Realize that doesn't make sense because why would I have previous paperwork for a procedure I've never had, and during no time during the hiring process did I have to list my childhood home number. Check insurance. Same provider as mine. Check height and weight. Same as mine. Even the blood type and medical conditions were the same as mine. Go into the patient room expecting to meet my body double. Patient looks nothing like me. Make conversation during setup and bring up coincidences. Tells me that's not right because her neighborhood is on the west side of the city while I'm from the southeast. Nothing else said matches personal memories or location info. Had to verify patient ID before starting, so not a case of the wrong person getting treatment. Look up the patient's address on maps after finishing to see if there's another neighborhood with my same address. Mine is the only one in the US. Go about life with nothing else out of the ordinary.
I have one anon. Be me 12. Mom brings me to get my teeth adjusted. Dentist said I need headgear and braces. I get headgear. I ask, how long do I need this? He said 1 year. I wear headgear for 1 year, got bullied at school and in public. Ditch headgear and upgraded to braces. Last 2 years. Fast forward 15 years. Sitting at dinner table with family talking about old times. I bring up my headgear. Family looked around confused. My mom said I never had headgear. We argued for 20 minutes. Everyone thinks I'm crazy and imagined braces and headgear.
I had a glitch in the Matrix moment happen to me a few weeks ago and I would like some feedback. Work from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. at a store down the street from my house. I walk to work because driving 5 minutes is a waste of gas. I finish my shift and walk to my house. I own a golden retriever and a Maltese poodle mix. Normally when I unlock the door and open it, my Maltese/poodle mix will bark his head off. Absolute silence. My mom greets me, same mom. I ask why the puppy didn't greet me normally. She says, what puppy? From my room comes a German Shepherd and a Yorkie. I ask where Casey, my golden's name, and puppy, my Maltipu's name, are. She looks at me like I'm dumb. She says I don't know, but Sam, German Shepherd's name, and Rusty, Yorkie, are right there. I laugh and ask her whose dogs are these. They seem friendly enough, like they know me. She says that they're mine and calls me silly. My breathing gets heavy. I change clothes and say I'm going for a walk. I go to the park to sit on the swings to clear my mind until about 7 p.m. When I return home, my dogs are back and my mom asks where I've been all day. She notices I'm not in my work uniform and asks if I had the day off. I tell her she saw me when I came home and I changed to go for a walk. She says that she doesn't remember me coming home but doesn't think much of it. My uniform is still on my bed from when I changed. I've taken off work for a while to calm down. I don't dare tell anyone in my family about this event.
Sort of a glitch in the Matrix deal. Be me, 12-ish. Just watched the Matrix. Figured I was probably in a simulation, too. Decide I want to wake up. Go up to my room at like 4 in the evening. It's middle of summer, so it's still bright. Sit cross-legged in my bed. Decide I'm going to meditate my way out. Start repeating edgy-ass mantra. I reject this fantasy. I want to see reality. I reject this fantasy. I want to see reality. Sit meditating there for maybe 10 minutes, eyes shut. Hear birds flapping outside. Hear a lot of birds flapping outside. Open my eyes. Blackbirds everywhere outside my room. Crows or ravens, I couldn't be sure. At least 3 dozen crows, probably more, but way too many to count, swarming above my backyard, right in front of my window. Not perched. swarming, flying in a massive dark cloud. They might have been circling the house, but I couldn't be sure. Get scared, stop the mantra, sit stock still in bed. After about 15 seconds, the crows fly off. Haven't been able to recreate that. My biggest regret was backing down when I was challenged like that.
I hope that you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. If you enjoyed tonight's story, then please subscribe to the channel as more green texts will appear daily. A new broadcast will appear when the clock strikes midnight Central Time.
Remember to check out the Odyssey page in the description for a second archive of the channel's videos.
There's also a Rumble archive as a backup.